Good morning, CaneSport. It's March 22nd, I believe, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And Matt, I'm standing here inside the Greenville Arena where the Miami Hurricanes just really shocked the um, the college basketball world with the way that they just dismantled number 2 seed Auburn. So we decided that we would take Good Morning Cane Sport the night before. Apologies. It is actually it's after midnight. To be totally honest, it's 12. It's 12:09. So we are actually in Good Morning Turf. And Matt, in all seriousness, you would have had to be here to understand the appreciation that the people that were here had for the way Miami played basketball here this weekend. I mean, just absolutely astonishing. I mean, you could dig in, take a dive into the stats. They had a 39-6 edge in the two games in points scored against turnovers. They had a 42-5 edge in the two games in fast break points. I mean, it was an absolute basketball clinic, and they're rewarded for it because they're going to be in the Sweet 16 on Friday in Chicago. You were watching it all from home, so a little bit of a different perspective. Give us your thoughts on what you saw from Miami this weekend.
I mean, it was amazing. Like we said all season, they played like a team. And if you told me they were going to shoot so horribly from three-point range, usually a smaller team, you got to hit your three-pointers if you're going to win games like this. But they didn't even need to. They played such good defense. There really were no easy baskets for either opponent. Brilliant game plan, brilliant execution by the players. Kudos all around. It was just amazing. The stat I was trying to find just now, and by the way, it's March 21st, not March 22nd. So, I know you're a day ahead in South Carolina.
Oh, right. You know what? I was looking at my phone, and you're right. It's March 21st. Yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. We're not jumping a day ahead. It's been
but there was a stat. I'm trying to find it. I think it was. To me, it was the points in the paint was the craziest statistic I saw, because this is a team with a 7-footer. This is a team with a 6'10" guy who's supposed to be the top pick in the draft, and Miami outscored. I'm trying to find it. They outscored Auburn in the paint. I think it was.
Well, they took him out.
Huh?
They took Kessler and Smith out.
Well, Kessler had foul trouble in the first 4 minutes, but my point is, it's a much bigger team, regardless.
But he could have gone back in at a quicker point. And Bruce Pearl, the coach, said afterwards that he couldn't handle the speed of Miami.
48-28 edge in points in the paint. That's not Miami's forte, no matter who they're playing. They're not a point-scoring team, and Auburn is. So, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, there's so many stories from this weekend. Few hundred media were probably here in Greenville. Not Miami media. The only two Miami media members, in all seriousness, that were here in Greenville were myself and Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. The Miami media just was asleep on this story. I guess nobody was expecting Miami to do this. And just didn't come and travel to the tournament. And but like Auburn, for example, probably had 50 media. All these other teams had a lot of media here, and they were blown away at the Miami press conferences by the eloquence, the poise, the maturity of the Miami kids. I mean, they put on an incredible display in every way, not just on the court, but off the court too. And the way they were able to describe what they were doing and their understanding of their game, their basketball IQ. These people don't, they've been covering college basketball for decades. Some of these guys that are here. I mean, I've known them for a long time. I mean, they've never seen anything like this before. And this is a special team. It's come together in a special way. I talk about it in my column on the website today. Just how they pieced this team together with, Charlie Moore. He's playing for his fourth team in college basketball. He has been transferring over and over again to try to find a place where he could use his ability to do this. That's exactly what I said in my column, like to do this, to lead a team, because he is the maestro, no doubt about it. Lead a team deep into the NCAA tournament, and we don't know what's going to happen in Chicago next weekend. Obviously, you get to the Sweet 16, hopefully the Elite Eight, you're into some very serious competition. But the way these guys prepare, the togetherness they play with, the chemistry that they have, they're going to be a load for anybody. And Leonard Hamilton predicted earlier this year that Miami could be a Final Four team, and everybody laughed and thought, "Oh, there's Leonard playing possum and all this." And Florida State beat Miami twice this year, both one possession games. But they have a chance, Matt. They have a chance.
Well, we looked at the next. Oh, look, it's one game at a time, right? That's how I deal with it too. So they're playing Iowa State next, and I started researching Iowa State. Look, I mean, I'm a football guy. I'm a baseball guy more than I like basketball, but I don't follow every team in the country or anything like that. So I started researching Iowa State. Do you know what Iowa State's record was last year, Gary?
No, I have zero. I have not.
They were 2-22, and they didn't win a single game. They were 0-18 in the Big 12.
Wow.
Fired their coach. 9 players left. They brought in all these transfers. They have 1 freshman and all transfers in their starting lineup this year, and that's who Miami's playing. They're similar to Miami. They're a
Can't
small
take them for
team.
granted, though.
They play defense, and I think Miami should win this game. I think Miami should go to the Elite Eight, and I'm not sure they advance past that. But I mean,
I haven't had a chance to even look at the bracket, Matt. Can you pull the bracket up on your screen?
Well, I don't know the bracket, but I know who they play. They're going to play the winner of Kansas Providence.
Who else is in the region?
They're going to play the winner. They're going to play the winner of Kansas and Providence.
So it's Kansas and Providence is on the other side. Okay,
So probably Kansas, which would be a very tough matchup. Providence, I think they could beat Providence. Kansas will be tough.
I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Kansas basketball this year, but look, these are all one-game situations. It's basketball. The Miami coaching staff has proven over and over again for many, many years. Jim Larinaga, Chris Caputo have been the staples of the coaching staff, obviously, and they have a couple new guys that came in that are with them this year. But they've proven over and over and over again that they're capable of putting game plans together for these individual games that they are trying to win, and I wouldn't sell them short against anybody. I think they're going to be a load. I mean, Auburn was the number 1 team for I think 2 weeks this year. They finished 7th in the country. I mean, we're not going to sit here and predict, but I mean, Matt, they're in the damn Sweet 16.
I know.
I mean, they're right there.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see. Miami has learned tremendously well how to play against bigger teams because that's all they faced in the ACC and in the NCAA tournament. So it's going to be really interesting as a small Iowa State team. Like you remember early in the year when Miami was playing these mid-majors, they were struggling. And I think that was as much because they were trying to figure out their own defense. But now we'll really see on Friday night, was it really because they didn't understand how to play defense, or was it because these smaller teams, they can't get the quick turnover, the easy turnovers and the quick transition baskets? We're going to find out very quickly because you can see these last 2 games, Miami just shocked the opponent. They couldn't believe how fast Miami was. They couldn't believe. I mean, they turned the ball over 2 straight times last night. Tons of turnovers the game before. I mean, that's what Miami thrives on, and Miami may not be doing that. This is a team that they're playing now who averages a lot of turnovers. I think they had 37 turnovers Iowa State created in the 2 games, 36 or 37 turnovers in the 2 games in the tournament. These are, I want to say, they're not the same, but they're similar teams, just in that they're smaller, faster, thrive on a defense that can get their hands on balls and poke balls away. So it's going to be really interesting because it's a different animal. That's what's so great about the NCAA tournament. It's not all the same team every time. It's one to the next and different styles. And this is a smaller team. It's going to be really interesting.
It's great. I think this is maybe the 3rd one I've been to, and I mean, I can't even begin to describe what a great event March Madness is, and these NCAA tournaments. It's funny, they had this one in Greenville, and the venue almost can't really handle what's going on here. I mean, everyone's gone home, so I was able to get a good internet connection right now. But just getting an internet connection this whole weekend has been insane because they're just not equipped to handle the need. You have so many people uploading video and photos and everything, and it's the internet would keep coming in and out. This venue has the NCAA tournament has outgrown Greenville. And now when it gets to this round, you're in major cities. Like we'll be going to Chicago next weekend, and it'll be a lot different. Those arenas will be much better equipped. But I mean, it's just a spectacular event, and the experience of covering this particular Hurricane team this weekend. I mean, I was in awe of what I was watching, to be honest with you, in every single way. How the kids handled themselves on and off the court. Jim Larinaga and the job that he did in with his staff in preparing for these games, and I'm excited for what's ahead. So anyway, applying it to what we had on the website today, Matt, tons of coverage of the game. Matt, after the game, did a deep dive into Iowa State and did an initial scouting report. So we have a story on Iowa State. You've got coverage of the press conferences. I wrote a detailed column setting the scene, hopefully, of everything that we saw here. There's videos of the celebration, some really cool video of the celebrations that you'll see with my column, and just a lot of stuff to hopefully make you guys feel like you were here as well. So Matt, summing up basketball, I mean, you just don't have enough adjectives. I mean, Bruce Pearl had some great quotes that you'll see in my column. Just, I mean, he was just flabbergasted by what Miami did to his team, and he did not have an answer. And I guess you just got to hope that the Canes can. They've left already. They went right to the airport from the arena. They were flying home right after the game because they'll probably leave for Chicago, I would think, Wednesday. So they got 3 days to be home, rest, prepare. My guess is not a lot of guys are going to be going to class this week. I'm sure the professors will give them some hall passes, and then it'll be off to Chicago to take another shot. So your final thoughts on on the basketball?
I mean, my biggest issue is why you have a CaneSport Under Armour jacket and I don't. That's my only real concern, because I have no concerns about the basketball.
Didn't I buy you one of those when we made these? I know I bought you a bunch of CaneSport.com stuff.
Give me a polo shirt. But I have a concern about that, but I have no concerns about this basketball team. They've already achieved what I think should have been their objective. If you told me before the season this team would reach the Sweet 16, I would say, I'll take it. And now it's just gravy. Whatever happens, you can only say great things about what Coach Larinaga did, about what these players did as a group. It's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by a team that has no star player. They all just came together. Nobody is trying to be the star. They all just take turns doing what they're supposed to do and giving the ball up and just playing their hardest. And how can you not root for a team like that? I mean, everyone around the country should be rooting for Miami, because I see a lot of teams with stars. Like when you watched that game last night, you saw the top player who might be the top NBA draft just shooting 3 after 3 after 3 and trying to do everything himself. And you saw what happened. That to me was why that was why Auburn had no chance, because when that kid wasn't hitting shots, he didn't seem to want to give the ball to anyone else to let anyone else get hot. That's for sure. So that helped Miami, but Miami earned that on their own, that win. I mean, they played great.
All right. A couple other things on the website this morning. Obviously, we haven't forgotten about football. An analysis of what to look for with spring drills resuming this week. The Canes will practice Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. There's a story on UCLA defensive lineman. I'm drawing a blank on his name, so give me a second here. Mitchell Agood is his name, and he's visiting Miami today through Wednesday, and he'll make a decision. I think the Canes have a real good shot to land him. So we'll be gearing up for more spring practice coverage. I know everybody's always fired up about that, Matt, but I can't urge everybody enough to embrace this basketball team this week. They deserve everybody that calls themselves a Canes fan to get behind them and what they're doing. And I hope that through our coverage this weekend that I was able to capture a little bit about the team and the mood, because I haven't seen that groundswell of support from everybody. And this really is a special moment for Miami basketball, for these kids. And now with all of the negative FBI stuff behind Jim Larinaga and Larinaga signing his contract extension, they should be able to parlay this, Matt, because they have a lot of scholarships, and they're gonna go looking for 2 or 3 transfers here in the coming days, and this gives them street cred, I would think, to go try to do it again and strike gold with like they did this year with Charlie Miller and I mean, no, Charlie Moore and Jordan Miller. It's getting late. And no, but I mean, they really hit it just right this year, and they'll have some good pieces next year with Jordan Miller coming back for one more year. They got to try to see, maybe Isaiah Wong can get an NIL deal that would inspire him to come back for one more year as opposed to, going to turn pro. I think he still has upside in terms of developing his body and his shooting and things like that. That would help him in the future for the NBA draft. So we'll see. That'll be topics for down the road. But hopefully everybody does embrace basketball here this week and cheers them on in the Sweet 16. Any closing thoughts, Matt?
No, I mean, look, when you talk about this helping and recruiting, of course it does, but this isn't a program that's ever really thrived on landing 5 stars and 4 stars throughout the whole roster. This is Jim Larinaga has always just put the pieces together. He says, this kid can do this for me, this kid can do that for me, and then he makes it work in his system.
But I will say this, Charlie Moore is playing at a 5-star level. Jordan Miller is playing at least a 4-star level. And Wong and Magusti are those are, you could call them 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever you want. I don't see anybody with guys that are playing better than these guys. So stars, no stars, I don't think it matters right now. These guys are older, they're experienced, and they are playing phenomenal team basketball right now. And it's going to be an exciting week. So I'm going to give everybody, I don't think they've turned it off yet. So I'm going to give everybody one more glimpse. There it is of the scoreboard. You can see the final score up there. Miami 79, Auburn 61. Cherish it, embrace it, love it, and I'm heading back to. I got quite a trip home. I gotta go back to Atlanta, Matt, and then fly home tomorrow. So I'm going to start the trip, I think, right now. So we're going to sign off. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank everybody for joining us with Good Morning CaneSport. Sorry, it's a little disjointed here. It's late and a lot going on here around me. They're breaking down the arena and stuff. But hope you guys have enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow in South Florida, and we'll be back at you guys with a Good Morning CaneSport on Tuesday morning. Have a great day, everybody.